Hello, I'm Jodie. I'm the music leader for Rural Fest 2022, and I'm really excited to be bringing you an online music workshop. This is an ambient soundscape workshop, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to have some new musical experiences, whether this is through sound recording and music technology, or creative composition and writing, or a combination of both. Through these workshops, I want you to explore your surrounding environments and nature, connecting to Rural Fest's theme this year. Then at the end, you'll come out with a creative composition product, individual to you, exploring your environment and contributing to Rural Fest 2022. So what is ambient music and an ambient soundscape? So ambient in this context means the background sounds and noises that make up your environment. This could be the cars and the road outside, your pets in the house, or your garden, or woods nearby and the wind in the trees. I really want to focus on all of these sounds and bring them together to explore your environment through a musical piece. This is where we develop a soundscape. A soundscape draws all these sounds in, all these aspects, and puts them together like a picture or a structure to make a complete musical piece. I will be using SoundPlant to demonstrate how to draw these aspects together and make a piece, but you are free to use whatever software or program you are happy with. I'll be showing some examples of what to do, but I hope you have fun and enjoy this workshop. So this is SoundPlant, and this is what I'll be using for the workshops. It's very easy to use. As you can see, it is based on the keyboard of a computer where you can put your sounds on, and it's available on Mac as well as Microsoft and Windows. So it's very easy to use. Once you've downloaded it, it'll open up a new screen. I've already put some sounds on. If you wanted to start a new one, you can put in a new key map, and that'll open another fresh one. If you wanted to open a key map that you've already saved, you can save them here with the sounds and save them under a certain name. Then you can find them if you started one and want to do some more work on it later. There's the rest of your settings. You can have different amounts of detail based on how much you want to see. I'm going to use the fully detailed one to show you all the things we can do with our sounds. So how did I put sounds on? Well, I've got some of my sounds here. These are sounds I've recorded from my desk, which is my local environment here, and I'm going to make a piece out of all these sounds and exploring what my desk sounds like. So I'm going to drag across my key sounds, and I'll put them on K for keys. You can change the colour to make them more easy to recognise. So I'll have a nice orange there maybe, or red. As you can see, I've put some of the colours as similar for similar sounds, and I've put them in similar areas if they are similar sounds, and that's one way you can organise it, or you can do it however you want to. So then what can you do with these sounds? As you can see, they're on different keys. So if I was to press K on my computer, it'd play my key sounds. It's very lovely. And then it'd stop. So that was drag and dropping. You can also find your sounds by clicking on the open sound folder. Then you can reset keys. So if I didn't want the keys there, I could get rid of them. I quite like my keys there, so I'm going to put them back. Then you can copy the keys. So if I change some of the settings, which we'll go through later, I can copy it and have an original and a different sound. So I can use the sound in different ways. I can put pitches onto them, which makes them have a certain different pitches. So I can help make a melody, which we can work through later as well. And I can cut a sound up. So say I have my chimes. This chimes, I've got two sounds here, as you can see by the waves. That's how you know there's a sound there. I could chop them up and put them onto two different keys. So I'd have two different sounds from one recording. So that is all about how to put in your sounds and how to start. So now I'm going to talk through how to edit your sounds. Okay, so I'm going to choose a sound to start working with. So let's choose just a lot of features to break down there and to use. So first and very simply is the volume by going down, decrease how loud it is, and going up, you can make it louder. You can do this and all the elements which can help add to the performative aspect and editing it while you're building your soundscape. We'll go on to recording when we do a practice example and show you how can you use those and then add them to keys as you go. Panning is very interesting. So panning can shift the sound to the left or the right, depending on if you want the sound to be a very literal representation. So these are, of course, recordings of my desk and sounds from my desk. So my water bottle is on my left, so I can pan these sounds to the left to then make it feel very real and a very real representation, if that's what I'd like to do. So if I go left, it'll be this way. That's 50. I can make it 100. And you can go the other way as well. So that's a interesting fact. So pitch shift is changing the pitch of the sounds and where they fall. So that can be done through changing the speed. By changing the speed, you change the pitch. So if I make it faster, we can hear the pitch has gone up as well as the speed of the sound, and I can make it slower as well. It's got a lot lower, really low. And can again change the speed as we go. So put that back. However, you can also change the pitch without having to change the speed, and that's just through adding them to semitones as it is on a piano keyboard. Semitones are just the difference between each note. So I'm going to go by a few semitones. And as you can hear, that also changes the timbre of the sound, which is how it feels, and what the texture of the sound is like and what elements come through, which could be really fun if you're looking for new sounds to make out of the sounds you've recorded. So put that back. So next is your EQ. This is a filter of each sound having a low section, a mid section of sounds, a high section of sounds due to frequencies. That's the waves of the actual sound. So we can change these independently. So if I want more low sounds, we keep the other sounds there. Mid sounds. High sounds, and then you can change the resonance as well. So that means you can change the sounds and pick out the elements of the sounds that you really like, or the ones you want to change a little bit. So distortion changes the sound a lot. So we put these two up. And then as you play the sound, this adds different elements to the sounds, which can make them really fun to play with and create new sounds again. Then last but not least, reverb. Make the sound feel echoey and literally reverbs more. So this changes the amount of space you could potentially create in your piece, or just gives a really fun effect. So that's all the elements to change how you sound. We can work with pitch again, going back to our assigning a key of pitch. So I'll go just next to the key that I want to change the pitch of. And I can do this again by changing the speed or by changing the actual semitones. So I'm going to add 4 semitones for now. Okay, so W is my first chime sound, and then E. Okay, is my second chime sound, so you can hear the pitch, and that's really good to start building up melodies, and you can assign them to different keys, so you could make a tune in your piece if you want it to be have more musical elements. So that's how to change our sounds, to use our sounds and edit them in a way that we like, to then start developing a piece. So now I'm going to move on to how to give an example of what you can do with these sounds, and I'm going to make a piece myself that you can pick up ideas from if you really like them, or you can do something completely new and creative, which is the brilliant thing about this program, is you can do whatever you want. But I'm going to show you how to record these, save them, and use it as a performance tool as well to get you going. So I'm going to start showing some examples of how we can use these sounds to make pieces. I'm going to first start with a very simple, more song-like way you can use the sounds. So here I have a short sound that I'm looping that for now. So I'm going to record my beats for a certain number of beats. So I'm just going to press the record, make sure it's looped, and press stop. I'm going to stop that. So then I can save this as beats and save that. And then I can add this to my sound map. So I'm going to add it on 1 and open sound, and then find beats, which is there. So now you can see I've got my beats. Now they start and end quite slowly, so I can drag these sliders to make my sound shorter. So now if I press 1, that's in the back. Now it's really good because I can play over top of this. I loop that, make sure my beat keeps going. I can always add a rhythm. Now I think that sounds a little bit similar. I'm going to stop this now. So maybe I want my rhythm to be a bit higher in pitch. I want to lower the amount of low sounds and just have the mid and high sounds. So it makes it quite short, and I quite like how that sounds. So if I play my beat over again, I can add rhythm. So I'm going to stop that. So now I want to record my rhythm. So I'm going to play my beats and then I'm going to record my rhythm. So I'm going to start recording. Stop. So that recording is now saved. So I'm going to add my rhythm. And I can add this sound in again. So now if I press 2, I beat there. I have some sort of rhythm there at the top. So I might not like that, and I can do that again if I wanted to get rid of it. So now I don't need my beats, or I could leave them there if I wanted to record another layer. You can always reset them here. Okay, so now I've got rhythm and I've got a beat, and I've got some melodies. So I've got some of my pitch sounds here. So I'm going to start playing my rhythm. That's a bit quiet. As you can see, we layered those up and I could keep recording, keep layering until I was happy with everything. Then I could record it as my final piece, save it and keep that as my song. So that's one way to make it quite musical, to have some different elements like rhythm and beats and put in a melody there. Another way you can use these sounds, obviously, with all the different textures and things we can change in our editing, is to make a soundscape piece, an ambient soundscape piece, drawing all these in and making a scene. So I could make a desk scene, as if someone was going around my desk exploring all the sounds, or I can make an imaginary scene and change all these sounds. And that's what I'd like to do now, is to show you. So I'm going to reset these keys because I don't need a regular beat if I'm going to explore. I'm going to change that one. I don't need a regular beat if I'm going to explore what sounds I can use. So as we had before, I have my water bottle sounds. And you can see I can layer them. They all come up on this side, so you can see what sounds are playing when, and then what sounds loop and what don't. And you can always X them there as well if you didn't want to use the shortcuts here. So let's see what these sounds remind me of. Very watery, very background. Quite a nice space. That's an idea I'd like to explore. So practice already. I quite like to build pieces up from the background, and then we can introduce different elements of the background. Activity there, so maybe creature. This one. And let's on this one. Pause my background sounds for now. So you can see how we can start layering those. So I'm going to now practice layering these sounds and making a bit of a soundscape based on a watery world, and maybe some things happen or I find somewhere new, and we'll see how that goes. So I'll give it a practice. I'm going to record this so then I can listen back to it, and then I can think if I have anything I want to change, or I can save it as my piece. So I'm going to start recording as well. So I quite liked some of the things I did there. I did different editing, I layered different things, I faded things in and out. So I'm going to call this water well. At the end, we came to kind of a spacious, maybe enchanted place with the chimes. And there was an activity as well, potentially animals or bats, and we were chasing, and I could increase the speed and change how that world felt. There might be some other things I want to add. I might want to add reverb to make it more spacious, but they are things we can play with. So I'm going to save that, and then I can always add it again. Open sound. So if I add my water world there, then this is our whole piece. The bubbles in again. Changing out a reverb and add another layer. You can see we can play with those as we want to. And we'll fade those out again. So there are a couple of examples of what you can do and how you can use these sounds, but of course this program is entirely creative and entirely up to you what you want to use those sounds for. I didn't use some of the sounds. I had this sound here, which I did some things with, but I could have added more. I had more sounds that I could have added that could have made different things. So this one could have made a nice storm if I'd wanted to. Again, another feature we could have added. So I'm just going to exit that. As you can see, lots to do, lots of creative ideas we can add in, loads of ways to edit them. So I hope you've enjoyed this workshop and got some ideas of how and what you want to make your piece out of, whether it be a musical song or a creative imaginary piece, or a very much a real soundscape, and just layering the sounds you've recorded in your space and your environment. So I hope you've had fun and enjoy making your pieces.